It is 51 degrees here at U.S. Cellular Field. And we hope that the rain stays away. Rain in the forecast from time to time tonight and for tomorrow. Game 2. Baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Jose Contreras is ready to go. And here's a lineup that Phil Garner put together, and it's brought to you by Citi. Leading it off is Biggio, the second baseman. Willie Taveras having a great rookie year is in center. Lance Berkman hits third and left. Morgan Ensberg cleans up. Mike Lamb at first. And here's an answer to one question coming into this game 1 of the World Series. The DH is Jeff Bagwell. Jason Lane is in right. Brad Ausmus does the catching. And Adam Everett is the shortstop batting in the number 9 spot. And here is the leader of this pack of 4. The terrific starting pitching for the White Sox during the regular season, a 15-game winner. And here in the postseason, 2-1, and he has been dominant every time out.
Hottest pitcher in baseball for the second half, pitching with a world of confidence. A fastball, and yep, here in Chicago, the forkball. Houston has to run. In fact, both offenses, I think you can see a lot of running, particularly in the early innings.
Take a look at the defense behind Contreras. And how the White Sox cover the field is brought to you by State Farm. Budsednik in left, Rowand in center, and Jermaine Dye is in right. With Creedy, Uribe, Iguchi, and Konerko on the infield, third to first. A.J. Controversy Pierzynski does the catching, and Jose Contreras is on the mound for the White Sox. Craig Biggio has been waiting for this at-bat for 18 years. And people who have been around the game for a long time were thinking of guys like Biggio and Bagwell when the Astros clinched a few nights ago in St. Louis. Biggio has done this during the regular season. This postseason, 14 hits, 4 RBIs. And off we go. Strike 1. It's Biggio, then Taveras and Berkman here in the first inning for the Houston Astros. The wild card winner from the National League. That's down, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. They clinched on the final day by beating Chicago. Of all teams, they beat the Cubs, and they were in. They took care of Atlanta. They took care of St. Louis. Phil Garner has his team rolling right into the World Series. There's a ball, and it's 2-1.
So one thing Contreras will do to right-handed batters, drop down against them, something you will never see Roger Clemens do.
On 2-1, that misses down and away, 3 balls and a strike. His 11 wins after the All-Star break, tied for the most in the big leagues. Andy Pettitte, Game 2 starter for Houston. The other one to accomplish that. Here's a 3-1 to Biggio, starting it for Houston. Full count.
Well, just getting the inside corner. Good call by Joe West. I think Ozzie telling Contreras, make him hit to get on.
I think Ozzie's juiced up.
I do too.
Here's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
What else is new?
Biggio chops it. Tough play. Creedy. He's had a good postseason, and he continues it.
That ball almost squirted loose. Sometimes you're so excited out there, you close the glove too early. And that ball kind of snow coned toward the end of the web. Creedy coming a long way to get that. Strong throw to get Biggio.
So now with 1 out, here is Taveras. Biggio ran the count full. The chopper for the out. Taveras, who was number 1 among National League rookies in games played, hits, stolen bases, runs, is in the number 2 spot. That change happened late during the regular season, and Phil Garner decided to go with the 1-2 punch of Biggio and Taveras at the top 2 spots for this game 1. It could change tomorrow night. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. You okay with all the room down there, Tim?
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
But you say that as we're thinking of our partner for a short time, Lou Piniella, who is down along with so many in the state of Florida, bracing for Hurricane Wilma. There is a punt attempt foul, and now Taveras is in the hole 1-2. See the good running action and movement on the fastball from Contreras, who's pitching on regular rest here tonight. On 1-2, Taveras reaching for it, a pop-up. Uribe, 2 out. Just to finish on Luke Piniella, who was with us during the ALCS. He was scheduled to be with us during the World Series, but he has, for good reason, decided to stay home in Florida as Lance Berkman digs his way in. You look at his regular season numbers, his postseason numbers, and Tim, you live in the Sarasota area, so I know some of your thoughts are on what is going on down in the Gulf yet again.
Thoughts are on Cancun and Mexico and Cuba, from where Jose Contreras reigns. El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, also from Cuba, defected several years ago.
Good fastball for a strike to Berkman.
And obviously the state of Florida.
He defected from Cuba October 25th, 2002. Signed a deal with the Yankees, traded to the White Sox midway through 2004. Really hit his stride in the second half of this season as the count evens at a ball and a strike. As we told you, and as Tim has said, he's been one of, if not the hottest pitcher in the major leagues down the stretch. 1 ball, 1 strike. A fork ball, strike 2.
Contreras throws the fork ball. He chokes it more than Roger Clemens, who throws the splitter. We'll show you the difference in the two in the bottom of the inning. But a good one to run the count to 2 strikes to Berkman.
Two and 2. To look at the last 11 starts, including the postseason. Contreras 10-1 with a microscopic 2.32 ERA. Look at the strikeouts to walks. His 2-2. Take a look at the Rocket, Roger Clemens, and the lineup for the Chicago White Sox. Brought to you by Citi. Setnik will lead off in left, Gucci bat second, Jermaine Dye in right, Konerko, Everett, and Rowand in the middle, A.J. Pierzynski, Joe Creedy, and Juan Uribe is the shortstop batting ninth. Clemens' first pitch of the night is in for a strike, 92-mile-per-hour fastball. And it's 0-1. Clemens will wait, and now Joe West is going to go over to Ozzie Guillen and talk about something in the hitter's background. And now they've turned off an electronic scoreboard out above the, I guess we can call it Ivy, even though we're here on the south side, out in center field. So that board was flashing around on that first pitch in Auspice. The catcher stood up and said, turn it off. You'd think a hitter would complain about it. 0-1 pitch, ball and a strike. Setnik 8 for 28 in the postseason after hitting .290 during the regular year. No home runs, but he has one during the postseason. That came against the Red Sox. Late swing, and that's strike 2. On deck, Gucci.
Roger Clemens missed his last start of the regular season. A strained left hamstring. So that would be one of the reasons why the White Sox would make Clemens move around a bit.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Roger is the second oldest pitcher ever to start a World Series game. Jack Quinn was 46 in 1929 with Philadelphia.
2 weeks after his start, the stock market crashed.
Ground ball to the left of Everett. 1 out.
Take a look at the scouting report for Roger Clemens. Rare combination of power and control. Everybody talks about his power. Few talk about his remarkable control. Mr. Splitty is a split finger fastball. That's different from the forkball that Contreras throws. And remarkably, he is as good now as he has ever been.
Ozzie Guillen was laughing before the game. Realized that Clemens broke into the big leagues with Boston in 1984. Guillen debuted in the big leagues in 1985. And he said, my coaching staff has better numbers against Roger Clemens and at least more at-bats than my lineup does. With guys like Harold Baines and Tim Raines and Joey Cora, Greg Walker. 1 out, nobody on, 1 ball, no strikes. On the outside corner, 1-1. So while Iguchi tries to figure out Roger Clemens and get on base in front of Jermaine Dye, Clemens might have to remind him he's not pitching against guys like Cora and Raines and some of the others. He's got some new names to deal with, and he falls behind Iguchi 2-1. The coaches and the general manager, Kenny Williams, 260 and 262 at-bats, and the playoff roster has a total of 117 chances against Clemens. Here's a 2-1. To the left side for Ensberg. 2 down. 2 ground ball outs, and we see how the Astros cover the field. It's brought to you by State Farm. In the outfield, it's Berkman tonight in left, Tavares in center, and Jason Lane in right. Ensberg has 2 errors this postseason, as does Everett. They're on the left side. Biggio and Lamb on the right side, and Ausmus, who is one of the real unsung good players in the major leagues, does the catching for Clemens, and here's Jermaine Dye.
So steady that the Astros actually traded for him twice. Came from the Detroit Tigers, did Ausmus. Talk about a steady guy to have behind the plate. And I think each pitching staff is really influenced by the great catching of both Pierzynski and Ausmus.
0-1 pitch. Guy up and after it, and he fouls it out of play to the right, strike 2.
We talked about Mr. Splitty for Roger Clemens. Really cutting hairs here, but you can see the space right there. That's a split finger fastball. It's thrown a little harder, more from the fingertips. Right here, this pitch is choked more, and that is the Contreras forkball. But they are different.
Still 0-2.
What Contreras ended the first inning with that forkball. You can see the grip, how he chokes his. Whereas Roger, there's a little space between the ball and the ends of the index and middle fingers.
0-2 is the count on Dye with 2 out, nobody on. That's why. You said cutting hairs. You're talking about the split-fingered pitch. It's
splitting hairs, yes. Might have been thinking about a haircut. It's been a while.
It has. It's postseason for you, baby. Sleep and get your hair cut in November. 1-2 pitch with 2 out. 2-2. Clemens in his career during World Series play is 3-0 with a terrific ERA of 1.90. Opponent's average, the strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. He went to the Yankees to get a ring. Got his rings. 2-2 pitch. And Dye has had a good at bat.
You would think throughout his remarkable career that he would have started a game 1. But this, incredibly, is his first start of a game 1 in a World Series.
Won his gold ring in '99 with the Yankees. Did it again in 2000. That's down and in. And if you want to talk about the Yankees for a quick second, I know it's another World Series and we have to talk about the Yankees. But their demise really was multiplied when they let Andy Pettitte walk away. Clemens retired, then came out of retirement, and both Pettitte and Clemens are starring in the rotation for the Houston Astros, and the Yankees have never been able to fill those roles with any kind of consistency in their rotation.
As Kevin Kennedy brought up in the pregame show, they traded Jose Contreras for Esteban Loaiza in July of last year. Orlando Hernandez, a former Yankee and a great postseason performer, also with the White Sox.
Dye hits it into deep right at the wall. The White Sox strike first. What a tremendous at-bat by Jermaine Dye, who was 0-2, had a 9-pitch at-bat, and put Chicago out in front.
Jermaine got a predictable pitch, a fastball away, did not try to pull it, and hit it a ton to right field. White Sox up.
Two and on Canerco.
In the postseason, the White Sox have outscored their opponents in the first inning 13-2. And when they have scored first, they are 6-0 in postseason play.
Three and 0 on Canerco. And the Angels are at home watching because a lot of that early power, and it was Canerco doing it back-to-back games out in Anaheim. Doing it in games 3 and 4. Now he's sitting on a 3-0 pitch. 3-1.
Out over the plate, Jermaine Dye, 6'5½", extending those long arms to put the Sox on the board.
It's the most subdued Ozzie Guillen's been the entire inning. Joe West with a delayed strike 2 call. It's a full count.
Just on the corner. Ball tailing back on the outside part. The problem with falling behind Canerco is you can't pitch him like you normally would. You have to pitch him inside, and when you're behind in the count, you can't do that. He's looking for that pitch.
You've got both managers coming into this game saying we're not going to do anything differently. We're going to keep playing our game. And Phil Garner saying, when I put Roger Clemens out on the mound, I just sit back and enjoy watching it with the rest of you. He enjoyed the first 2 groundouts. But after getting up on the count 0-2, Jermaine Dye battled and homered. Now Canerco grounds to Everett. It's been since 1959 since the White Sox have been in the World Series, hosting Game 1. They take a 1-0 lead after 1. Ensberg, after the first pitch, pops it up into right. An easy play for Dye, who's homered 1 out. Ensberg, who hit 36 home runs during the regular season, flips one into right, and it's obvious that the ball is jumping out to right. That ball was hit flat-footed as Lamb digs in. And
off the end of the bat.
I mean, it carried Tim not to the track, but just in front of it.
Yep.
And we saw how far Dye's shot went the other way. It is flying. The wind's blowing out that direction. With one out, here is Mike Lamb, and he takes the ball. Lamb has hit 2 home runs during this postseason, and he shoots one into center field. Back is Rowan at the wall. This ball is gone. Lamb has homered to tie it at 1. Come on the air, and you hear all the pregame press conferences talking about small ball. And here in inning plus, we've seen 2 home runs, one by Dye and this by Lamb to tie it.
Well, to simplify it, both hitters, Jermaine Dye and Mike Lamb, hit pitches that they knew were coming, fastballs. A 1-0 count to Lamb, looking for a fastball. He got it, hit it hard to center field. Jermaine Dye, the 3-2 fastball from Clemens, got it, hit it hard to the opposite field.
So Lamb goes deep, playing first base tonight. Some thought that when Phil Garner put his lineup together, he would have Lamb in the DH spot. He's playing first tonight. He gets his first at bat, and he took that ball down at the knees or just below the knees into straightaway center. And this game is tied at 1. Now it's Bagwell, who is the DH tonight, and he takes a strike. He's in the hole 0-2. There are the numbers for Bagwell, who underwent right shoulder surgery in May. It's the second surgery he's had on the shoulder, and nobody thought he would get back and active here in 2005. They thought maybe 2006, maybe never again. And Bagwell is clipped by the pitch, and he's on with 1 out.
Sometimes when you throw that splitter, you have a tendency to tilt the fingers toward the third base side, and the ball kind of squirts out toward the inside of a right-handed hitter. I think that's what happened then when Contreras threw that splitter, and it kind of squirted out and hit Bagwell on the left shoulder.
So Bagwell, who has played in 2,150 games, gets hit in his first World Series plate appearance. Like his partner Biggio does time and time again, year after year. Getting hit by a pitch. Here's Lane. He takes the ball low.
Greg Biggio hit 273 times in his career, the most by any major leaguer.
Lane went deep in the clincher, Game 6 in St. Louis. And he bats with 1 on, 1 out. And he rips one down the left field line. It is foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thought you brought up a good point to Phil Garner before the game about Bagwell, and that is he's not the fastest guy, but here he is on at first with 1 out, and he is known across baseball as a very good base runner.
Outstanding savvy on the bases. Takes the extra base when he should. An aggressive base runner. You don't have to be fast to be good.
Double play ball to short. Uribe, Iguchi, off we go into the bottom of the second. A home run by Mike Lamb has evened this game. Out of the hand of Contreras off the bat of Lamb, 1-1 in Chicago. Our Lunesta trivia question: who was the last 300-game winner to start Game 1 of the World Series? As Clemens is on the mound tonight for Houston. Bottom of the second, Everett, Rowan, and Pierzynski for the White Sox in a 1-1 game. Home run by Dye, home run by Lamb. 92 miles per hour, and by the bat of Everett, strike 1. Carl is only 3 out of 20 in his career against Clemens. This postseason hitting .258, .251 during the regular season, the 0-1. Everett is the DH. Figures to sit when this series shifts to Houston. Off the end of the bat, base hit to center. Leadoff man is on for the White Sox, and we debut a new toy at Fox, our Fox Tracks, to look at the home run.
It's kind of neat. The first pitch was high, and the second pitch tailing away from Lamb, and you can see he connected with that ball as the ball was going away, a two-seam fastball.
And Brandon Backey loved it.
Come on, come on, get up, ball, yeah, atta boy, yeah, woo!
Sheer ecstasy on the part of Brandon Backey when Lamb connected, and now with one on and nobody out, a check on Everett, who stole 4 bases during the regular season. Here's Aaron Rowan. That was odd. Ausmus popped up like they were going to pitch out. Everett bluffed as if he was going to steal second. And then Ausmus got back down and caught ball 1 down and away. So 1 ball, no strikes. Rowan 7 hits in this postseason. You can run on Contreras and you can run on Clemens.
Good time to do it because when the hitter's ahead in the count, the likelihood of a pitch out is remote. Angels had a lot of success with Rowan, pitching him inside, trying to prevent the extending of the arms.
1 ball, 1 strike. If you talk to Ozzie Guillen, at least tonight prior to the game, he said we're going to run and we're going to bunt when we can to try to test Roger Clemens and his ability to get off the mound and make a play. 41-year-old Ozzie Guillen, proud Venezuelan, managing a team with players from all over the world. And it was Rowan who said we all speak different languages, but the common denominator is we all speak baseball. Second foreign-born manager in the World Series, the White Sox shortstop, 1985 to 97. Came up with the Padres, at least through their system, and was the Rookie of the Year back in 1985.
Now would be a good time to send the runner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Rowan's seen 3 pitches.
He's going. Rowan chops it to the right side and through. Everett will go to third, first and third, nobody out.
Hard for managers to tell broadcasters exactly what they're going to do. But you just got the feeling that Everett was going to be in motion after what Ozzie told us before the game. Second baseman covering, the ball through on the right side. Beautifully done by Rowan. He didn't hit it hard, but placed it accurately.
And now Pierzynski. A.J. Pierzynski, who should make every umpire run away every time he shows up. This guy was involved in all the controversial plays, it seemed like, in the ALCS against the Angels. The swing and miss and taking first on what should have been not only strike 3 but out number 3 in game 2. The catcher's interference, it wasn't called when he was behind the plate on a swing by Finley. And now he gets time at home before the pitch from Clemens.
Clemens threw that ball home disdainfully, probably thinking that that's too late. Those are the types of things that Pierzynski does to the opponents that upset them.
It's a nasty pitch.
Yeah, it is.
Look at the drop on this thing.
That was the splitter.
Ball 1. Cold enough where the umpiring crew will let the pitcher blow into his pitching hand to try to warm it up. Pierzynski is jammed, the ball and a strike.
Along with all the other animation of Ozzie Guillen, his hand gesticulations from the dugout are fascinating. I think it's fascinating to try to figure out. I think he was telling Aaron Rowing that if Pierzynski hooks the ball by the first baseman, make sure you go to third base. Outfield is back. You'll see that the whole game. Fascinating.
But he even takes it to another level. We saw him in the ALCS, motion out to a runner at first. Just go, run. Waving his arm forward as if to say, hey, we don't need to go through the signs here. If you get a chance to run on this guy, he's got a high leg kick. It was Escobar.
Right.
Just take the bag. It's not too complicated. Just do it. A 1-1. A.J. Pierzynski, who came up through the Twins organization, was with the Giants last year. They declined an option on his contract, and he seems to fit right in here with the White Sox. Two balls and a strike. The play by Lamb, throws to second for the out. Here comes Everett to the plate, 2-1 White Sox.
Excellent base running by Carl Everett. It was a good play by Lamb initially. He looked the runner back at third, but Everett was so far off the base that he was able to score after the throw went to second base. Watch Everett. I think if Lamb had come up throwing to third, they'd get Everett in a rundown. Everett's far enough off the third, but it is a risky play. So Lamb looked him back, Everett held, the throw went to second, and Everett scored the second run of the game.
So the DH, Carl Everett, may have been trapped in no man's land and then just took off for the plate on the throw to second, the force out 3-6, the RBI for Pierzynski. Now he's on at first with one out for Joe Crede.
There's a lot of pressure on that runner at third with nobody out, as we've said a lot, particularly first and third. We saw it with Albert Pujols the other night of the Cardinals. First and third in that game won by the Astros on the terrific double play. Pujols trying to score the play before and was thrown out at home. But watch the dilemma of Carl Everett. He takes about 2 steps toward home and stops. Had Lamb gone right to third, maybe he gets Everett. But Everett alertly, when the throw went to second, scores easily without a play. That is alert base running by Carl Everett.
Crede with a count 0-1. 0-2. I'm not afraid to say who we voted for, Tim. I'm not. We voted for Joe Crede to be the MVP of the ALCS.
We did indeed.
He didn't win. Nope. Paul Konerko won, but Crede hit .368 and not only had as many RBIs as Konerko, but had him in key, tight spots, including the game-winning hit in a great at-bat in Game 2 with that controversial third strike with Pierzynski. Took 2 strikes. Let Pablo Ozuna steal second, and then on 0-2 against Escobar, wrapped one off the wall and left to win it. And now a shattered bat. Somehow Ensberg keeps his focus on the play and gets the out at first. And I mean to tell you, the business end of the bat went right down toward Ensberg.
You will never break a bat any more deliberately than Roger Clemens did. It looked like a splitter in on the hands that just shattered the bat. Splinters flying everywhere.
Well, if that bat was Wonder Boy from the ALCS, like the natural, he's going to have to go to something else because his lucky bat was just shattered. Here's your Uribe, the number 9 hitter. Runner at second, 2 out. Pierzynski is out there. Doesn't run all that well. And that's foul, strike 1. Uribe drove in 71 runs during the regular season. That was 5th best among Major League shortstops.
Obtained by the White Sox last year from the Rockies. Had 23 home runs for the White Sox last year.
What's that?
He has power. Power the other way also.
Under at second. 2 down, and Uribe into left center field. That ball is down. Pierzynski scores easily. It's 3-1.
Looked like a two-seam fastball from Clemens. No, looked like a splitter. Yep, the split finger fastball went down, and Uribe did a good job of getting it before it went down.
Now a visit from Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. I think if you size up this World Series, the guy that I think everybody has their attention on, and rightly so, is Oswalt, with what he did in the NLCS.
Overwhelming.
I mean, just unhittable. You talk to Cardinal hitters. There's Bernie Mac from the Bernie Mac Show. You talk to Cardinal hitters, they'll tell you in Game 6 he was absolutely unhittable. So here are the White Sox trying to get at least one win before Oswalt pops up in Game 3 in Houston. And not only Game 3 in Houston, but a Game 7, if there is one, here in Chicago. The White Sox leading 3-1, bottom of the second. Back to the top of the lineup. Here's Podsednik. Scott grounded out to short his first time up. Three hits in the inning. And 2 runs for Chicago. Strike one. Seven-time Cy Young Award winner Roger Clemens, 43 years old, brings home an 0-1. Good pitch. Out in front of it was Podsednik, and now he's in the hole 0-2.
There are 2 players, one in each lineup, where you have to make them hit the ball over your head. In the off field, Willie Taveras is one for Houston. Scott Podsednik is another one. And right now, Lance Berkman's too deep in left field. Taveras is proper in center, but Berkman too deep.
Ball 1.
So one thing you try to prevent as the opposite outfielder, when a pitcher makes the pitch, shatters a bat, jams a guy, you want to be able to make a play.
Clemens trying to fight his way through this second inning. 2-2. Already there's action for the Astros out in their bullpen as Wandy Rodriguez, a young left-hander, cranks it up. That'll get out of play. In his first World Series with the Boston Red Sox, his shortest outing in World Series performances, 4 1/3 innings. He's pitching here with 2 outs in the second on the short end of a 3-1 score. 2-2 delivery. Podsednik is just up there battling. Traded by the Milwaukee Brewers here to Chicago. Podsednik along with Luis Vizcaíno, a good right-handed arm out in their bullpen. For Carlos Lee, who had a great year power-wise, run production-wise in Milwaukee. But it gave the White Sox their leadoff hitter, and now Podsednik is running full.
Okay, you had a shot of Contreras warming up. A lot is made of how long a pitcher stays in the dugout. If I were a starting pitcher, I'd say, guys, take all the time you want.
On 3-2, Podsednik just got a piece. White Sox may already have Roger Clemens on the ropes. And another foul off the bat of Podsednik. Up over 50 pitches is Clemens. The Astros in the top of the third will have Ausmus, Everett, and Biggio. Another 3-2. Another foul ball. A lot of people wondered how the White Sox would pick up after a 5-day layoff. They did not play well in Game 1 of the ALCS after sweeping the Red Sox. They were lethargic. They didn't play their game. They didn't get bunts down. They didn't run the bases well, make good decisions. Pretty good start here tonight. What an at-bat.
You can't get on, wear him down.
The 12th pitch of the at-bat is coming here. And finally, Clemens wins that battle. But in the inning, the White Sox regain the lead. Everett on with a hit. Hit and run went to third. Scored on the ground ball by Pierzynski, who scored on the hit by Uribe. 3-1 after 2 here in Chicago. Eight, 9, and 1 hitters for the Astros. Ausmus, Everett, Biggio against Jose Contreras, who deals a fastball for a strike. Ausmus overall hit .258 during the regular season, but has hit .287 since the 1st of July. And his value to this Houston team and what he does behind the plate is almost immeasurable. And he starts the inning off with a base hit into right. Good piece of hitting by Ausmus, just flipped it into right, and the leadoff man is on for Houston.
Fastball away. Joe, you said 287 since July 1st. It's rare for a catcher to improve his offense as the season goes along because they get tired. They get more tired than any other position player. But Ausmus turning it around, hit 214 first half of the season and really propelled into that close to 300 mark in the second half.
One on, nobody out. Number 9 hitter is Adam Everett. Strike one. Everett has been a steady shortstop for the Astros since taking over. Hit .248, but hit 11 home runs, stole 21 bases. And in this AL style lineup is hitting in the number 9 spot. The 0-1. Down the left field line, it is foul. 0-2. We gave you our Lunesta trivia question. Who was the last 300 game winner to start Game 1 of the World Series? The answer, go back to 1925. And Walter Johnson of the Washington Senators against the Pirates. And Johnson was the winning pitcher in that game.
The big train, built like the big train Roger Clemens.
One on, nobody out. 0-2 pitch to Everett. Sounded like he broke his bat. And he did. And the count stays 0-2, and this ought to tell you something. Rodriguez continues to warm up even while the Astros are hitting. Roger Clemens has battled a hamstring injury this season. He has battled a bad back after getting out of that long second inning.
You can almost see him limping down the stairs.
Could be an injury situation with Clemens, but that's total speculation at this point. Here is Everett sticking the bat out. Contreras to second, out, over to first, safe.
Contreras taking a long time to get that ball to shortstop Juan Uribe. Uribe with a quick pivot, strong throw to first, but they only get one. Looked like a slider, low and away. He could not find a handle to the ball. I've always thought that an odd expression. Couldn't find a handle to it. But Uribe almost waiting at shortstop for the throw to arrive. And a double play that should have been turned. The White Sox only get one.
So now back to the top of the order. Here's Biggio, who grounded out his first time. And here we go. We talk about the running game with the White Sox. You have to consider it here with a guy like Everett on at first. 30 out of 32 was the opposition trying to steal against Jose Contreras. Takes a long time to get the ball to the plate. Good pitch down and away. Strike one on Biggio.
Plus, he throws pitches like that are down in the strike zone. And when a pitcher's effective down in the strike zone, it's very difficult for a catcher to have a good pitch to handle to throw a runner out. So that combination, slow home, down in the strike zone, a good situation on which to run.
Everett stays put. Biggio 0-2.
Contreras always starts holding the ball at his side with the split finger grip. Then he'll change it in the glove.
Picked up by Pierzynski, 1-2.
He showed it in the League Championship Series. He even warms up with a softball, which is bigger than a baseball. And he uses that to stretch the index and middle finger. That is the forkball grip, but he changes it in the mitt.
What a jump by Everett. He was halfway to second base by the time Contreras let it go.
Pierzynski would have had no chance if Biggio doesn't make contact.
Biggio is in a spot with 2 strikes where he has to swing if it's in the strike zone. So that's really one way, if you're a guy like Contreras, to try to at least slow down the running game, throw strikes, get ahead of hitters. And he's 1-2 on Biggio. And a floater into center field. That ball's going to get down. 2 hits in the inning, and it's 2 on with 1 out for Houston here in the third. 8 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone, and our game summary is brought to you by Bank of America. Mike Lamb homered for Houston in the second after Jermaine Dye went deep in the first. Juan Uribe has an RBI double. It came with 2 out. And Roger Clemens has thrown over 50 pitches in 2 innings. With 2 out and a long at bat, a 9-pitch at bat. In the first inning, Jermaine Dye took Clemens out to right. Then Lamb tied it. The White Sox back out in front with 2 in the second, and now it's 2 on with 1 out for Willie Taveras. Reaching for it, strike 1. 1959, not just the year that represents the last time the White Sox were in the World Series, but it's also the year that represents Fidel Castro taking over Cuba. Talked about Jose Contreras defecting back in 2002. Two on and one out. Taveras drops down a bunt. Contreras off the mound. Good play. 2 out. The runners advance to second and third, but 2 out in the inning. And while people in Cuba are wondering about what the eventual outcome will be for Hurricane Wilma, you know that they are huddled around televisions and radios, despite the government telling them not to listen and watch what their beloved Jose Contreras is doing starting Game 1 of the World Series against Houston. For more on that, let's go down to Chris Myers.
Thanks, Joe. Humberto, the older brother of Jose Contreras, as millions watch, is so desperate in Cuba where his name is not allowed to be mentioned, according to Fidel Castro, is riding by horseback this evening to a shack where a friend has a transmission hookup so he can listen to his brother's game. Jose Contreras, one of 9 in his family, and when he did defect from Cuba, it took nearly 2 years before he could see his wife and 2 daughters, and that's the time he was traded to the Chicago White Sox. Baseball knows no boundaries. Of course, the White Sox aren't necessarily America's team, but tonight, Cuba's team, even if the fans there can't openly admit it, at least for Jose Contreras.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And now, here are the Astros in a spot to come up with a hit from Berkman. Try and tie this game. Second and third, 2 out. Berkman rips it down the right field line. It's a fair ball. The game is tied, and Berkman will cruise into second base with a 2-out, 2-run double. It's 3-3 here in the third.
Ozzie Guillen out to talk to Contreras before that splitter. You're in a situation right there where one hit is going to tie the ball game. You don't pitch around him, even though he is an outstanding hitter. A hanging split finger fastball or fork ball. Reason for that is you've got Ensberg, the cleanup hitter, on deck, and it's too early in the game to be walking hitters intentionally. White Sox just got burned.
Now a chance for Houston to take their first lead of the night. They've got Ensberg at the plate, a guy who drove in 101 runs during the regular season with 2 out, a 3-3 score in the third. Check swing, foul, 1-1. If you go back through this inning, Tim, you get a leadoff hit from Ausmus. Contreras and the White Sox can't turn a double play on the ball hit by Everett. Biggio gets a hit, and then the bunt by Taveras. And you're thinking, that's an odd play with 1 out. It put 2 out in the inning, but it advanced the runners to second and third. Left it on the shoulders of Lance Berkman, and he stepped up and did it again for Houston. Now Ensberg takes a ball, 2-1.
It's odd to give Willie Taveras a sacrifice on that because clearly he was bunting for a base hit. But the secondary effect of moving the runners along set him up for Berkman.
2 balls and a strike. Morgan Ensberg fly to right. His first time up. Pierzynski tried to pull it back in. It's high and tight, 3-1. Contreras defeated Boston Game 1 of the division series, 7 2/3, 2 runs, and a 14-2 win. Lost to the Angels in Game 1 of the ALCS, but went 8 1/3 and then won the clincher. Game 5, 6-3. Here's a ground ball to short. Picked up by Uribe, and off we go into the bottom of the third. The White Sox coming up. The Astros just came back. It's a 3-3 score in Game 1.